Can I take your order? What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Leak, you feel me? Coming at y'all with another reaction video, man. No, look, 7 p.m. Central Time, daily uploads, guys. You already know what time it is. If you're not here on time, I'm going to teach you a valuable lesson, and it's just that simple. So you better be here on time. But I appreciate the support nonetheless. Guys, as you can see by the title, we got a freaky deaky type video. Video is called The Most Shocking Sex Deaths of All Time. We're going to see what the video talking about, man. I got my Burger King here, as you can see. Let's get the video cooking, man.
The police burst down the door to the small, unassuming suburban home. They rushed upstairs where they found a man naked and weeping on the bedroom floor, still on the phone with 911. His wife lay on the bed, dead. Her cause of death? Sex. But not just any kind of sex. It's one of the strangest sex deaths you've never heard of. Chickens, big breasts, and more. On today's infographic show, we'll reveal the strangest sex deaths you'll probably regret ever learning about. Number 10. Equine Tragedy. If dogs are man's best friend, then horses aren't too far behind. Given how prominently they've featured in the chronicles of human civilization, they enabled the Mongols to conquer most of northern Asia and well into Europe, and only a horse would—
Okay, what are you getting at? What are you getting at?
Prove powerful enough to take down a Superman. But for one man from Pennsylvania, his love for horses would spell his doom. Rather, it would be his love from a horse that would end up killing him. Kenneth Pinion was an engineer at Boeing, but apparently working for one of the world's top aerospace giants wasn't exciting enough. So on the weekends, Pinion and his friends decided to pursue some unorthodox horseplay, and they recorded it all. This had been going on for years. Surprisingly, it's believed Pinion wasn't actually a dedicated zoophile, though he did own a custom cast of his favorite horses, but let's just call it an accessory. His passion for horses developed after a motorcycle accident left him largely unable to feel much sensation below his waist. So, to recapture that thrill, he swapped horsepower for, well, literal horsepower.
This is number 10 on the list.
On the night in question, Pinion and his friends had made their way onto a local farm where it's believed they had an agreement with the owner. Pinion got into position, and the ensuing action proved to be too rough to handle. Pinion would be dumped at the local ER by his horse-loving companions, where medical staff wheeled him inside. But it wasn't until they examined Pinion that they'd realized he'd already bled to death. Just a friendly reminder that horses are only for riding, not for well, you know what, let's just forget that. Moving on. Number 9. Night shift arousal. Anyone who's ever worked the night shift knows that it can be a serious challenge to stay awake and engaged. This becomes even harder when you're the only person around because your job is being a night security guard like Ralph Santiago from Reading, England. Usually night shift employees will sneak books or maybe a Switch or some other portable gaming console to while away the time. Santiago did none of that. Instead, Santiago brought in latex bodysuits, gas masks, and poppers. Legal chemicals that can produce a brief but intense high. Bored on the night shift, Santiago wandered off into the recesses of the office building that he was tasked with guarding. When his replacement came in at 6:30 a.m., he couldn't find Santiago at the security desk or anywhere on the cameras. The concerned colleague proceeded to scour the building for him. What he found instead was a dead body slumped in the corner of one of the men's stalls in a bathroom, wearing a full-body latex suit, latex gloves, work boots, and a gas mask that covered his face entirely. Police didn't even realize it was Santiago until the mask was removed. So what in the world could have gone wrong in Santiago's shift? Well, it appears that Santiago wasn't content with just rubbing one off while on duty. Instead, he engaged in an elaborate sex ritual that, while not illegal, is extremely frowned upon by most employers if performed during work hours. He had inhaled some of his poppers and donned the gas mask, trapping the noxious fumes in an airtight seal. Seeking a sexual high, Santiago instead suffocated to death. Why he needed to be in a full-body latex suit first, we'll leave up to you in the comments. We're not here to yuck anybody's yum, but if you're into this sort of thing, avoid toxic materials and maybe keep the latex suit at home. Especially not if it's literally your first night on the job, like Mr. Santiago. How can teenage sex in a garage lead to death? Well, when you're stupid, anything's possible. But first, number 8. Sometimes a parachute is better protection than a condom. Relationships take work, and if you want to keep a good relationship alive, it's important to invest in your sex life. Spontaneity and a sense of adventure is important in keeping sex fun and exciting over the course of a long-term relationship. In this regard, 21-year-old Chelsea Tumbleston and Brent Tyler got grade A marks, but when it came to common sense, they scored significantly lower. Chelsea and Brent's naked bodies would be discovered by a taxi driver just shy of 6 a.m. in the middle of the street downtown. They had serious injuries and were rushed to the hospital, but died before arriving. Police wouldn't discover the cause of death until they looked up and found a nearby witness. It seems the couple had parked in a parking garage at around 5:30 a.m., where they were spotted by a local homeless woman and her husband. The kinky couple drove up naked, got out of the vehicle, still naked, and started climbing onto the roof of an adjacent building. The two were seeking a sexual thrill, having sex on top of a building, but had misjudged the slope and the slipperiness of the building's pyramid-like roof. Shortly before getting to do the deed, the two slipped and fell to their deaths. If that's not strange.
That's one of the worst videos I've watched. I'm literally speechless. Y'all was looking for a thrill, so y'all climbed the building to have a little bit of fun. And then y'all fell off to your death.
Wait until you hear how a Chinese kid died from sex in a chicken coop. But first, number 7. Say my name. There's nothing hotter than hearing your partner calling out your name in the midst of passionate lovemaking. Or, for a narcissist, there's nothing hotter than yelling out your own name. But everyone knows that it can be a terribly embarrassing faux pas to call out the wrong person's name during sex. Even if it's a legitimate accident or a brain hiccup, it usually spells death for a relationship. In the case of Tracy Scully from Britain, the death would be literal. 53-year-old British man Colin Scully and his wife Tracy were having sex one day when, in the midst of their lovemaking, Tracy began to call out Paul. Who could this Paul have been? Perhaps a former partner, and she was just reacting by habit? Famous Dutch filmmaker and master auteur behind such unappreciated hits like RoboCop, Total Recall, Showgirls, and the totally misunderstood Starship Troopers? Not likely. Turns out Paul was likely the same Paul from a scooter club that the couple frequented. Now, because we're Americans, we have no idea what a scooter club is, so we had to look it up. Turns out it's exactly what it sounds like, a club for people who like to ride scooters, kind of like the Hells Angels for the Disney Channel, Hex Angels. Colin suspected that Tracy was secretly sleeping with Paul. He proceeded to pin her down crucifix style and strangled Tracy, causing her to asphyxiate. And not in a fun David Carradine way either, but the boring old murdery way. What can make a blowjob deadly? Find out soon, but first, number 6, one for the birds. When Chinese police found a 53-year-old man naked and dead inside a chicken coop, they had their work cut out for them. Was this man a victim of some twisted serial killer who shoved his naked body in with the terrified chickens? Were the chickens in on it? Were the chickens finally rising up against man? Turns out they got a big clue as to what had gone down when they looked across from the coop. Through the man's bedroom window, they could see his desktop computer, which was streaming pornography. Investigators realized that the man had apparently gone bored of choking his chicken in the bedroom and sought to choke his chicken in a more natural habitat. So he crawled into the coop naked and beat his trouser snake like it owed him money, all in front of a dozen terrified chickens. It had been chilly that night. The combination of ice, chill, and the elevated heart rate as the man approached climax conspired to cause a fatal myocardial infarction,
Heart attack.
aka a heart attack.
Wow. Niggas is just too freaky. Niggas is just too freaky. I say it all the time. You set your laptop up where you can see it out the window and set up your favorite cornos, You set up a corn video, and then you went into the chicken coop. You choked your chicken, right? You choked your chicken and had a heart attack. Look what you did, bro. You just fucking, bro. Look what all the trauma you just caused them fucking chickens. Not only did they have to see death, they had to see you literally choke, not literally, but choke your chicken.
Listen, we know it's tough being single, but the next time you're feeling adventurous with your masturbation techniques, at least try to think of your family and friends who will have to hear about the horrible details of how you were found dead with your limp biscuit in your hands. Well, pretty predictable stuff actually, but first, which story has shocked you the most so far? Let us know in the comments, or guess what bizarre sexcapade might be coming next. Number 5. Death by garage sex. Austrians Reinhard Walliker and Stephanie Tanzer faced a familiar dilemma for most teenagers anywhere around the world: where to go that afforded some privacy while the two got to the business of exchanging biological fluids. In the middle of winter, it was unthinkable to park their small car somewhere remote as most teens would do, so instead they kept the car inside one of their parents' garages and climbed into the back seat to make good sad. Missionary accomplished, statistically speaking only for Reinhard anyway. The two suddenly began to feel just how chilly it was inside the garage. No problem, they thought they'll just turn on the car's heater. But to do that, they first have to run the engine. The rest is a tale as old as cars and garages. The small garage began to fill up with carbon monoxide from the vehicle's exhaust. The two teens, lying in their post-coitus bliss, were unaware until their lungs had become sufficiently saturated and they began to grow drowsy and fall asleep forever. A condom doesn't always mean safe sex, though. Wow. Number 4. Getting eaten out. A couple in Zimbabwe was looking to do the horizontal shuffle and similarly finding themselves short on privacy. Instead, they decided to jump into the bush where they could make the beast with two backs in peace. Problem is, there was another beast altogether waiting for them. At some point in their lovemaking, an adult lion wandered onto the scene.
Bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, bro. Bro. Wait, where were they? Where were they at?
The beast with out. A couple in Zimbabwe was looking to do the horizontal shuffle and similarly.
No, they was in Zimbabwe. Where is Zimbabwe? I've heard of it, of course, but Zimbabwe. Yeah, Africa. Bro, so they was in Zimbabwe, right? And they tried to go to the woods, go to the bushes and get it cracking. And the lion came up, bro.
Finding themselves short on privacy. Instead, they decided to jump into the bush where they could make the beast with two backs in peace. Problem is, there was another beast altogether waiting for them. At some point in their lovemaking, an adult lion wandered onto the scene. The lion immediately attacked and the woman, Shorai Mawera, was quickly dragged off into the bush and killed. Her partner managed to run away and screamed for help, completely naked save for the condom that he still wore. Kudos to him for practicing safe sex. Too bad about the lion, though. Several people would come across him screaming, naked, probably still erect, but assumed he was mentally ill and ignored him. Finally, one driver stopped and a rescue party was formed, but by the time they arrived, the woman was dead. She had been mauled across her neck and stomach. Large breasts may seem attractive, but they often come with lots of back pain, and sometimes they can even kill. But first, number 3, love balloon. Who doesn't love helium? It's a fun gas that can distort your voice and make even the manliest of men sound like Mickey Mouse. Every day, millions of people suck in the gas out of party balloons for fun, the effect fading after just a minute or so. In low concentrations, it's a great party gag, but just like any gas that displaces oxygen in your lungs, it's all about saturation. Jason Ackerman and Sarah Reidman probably thought that it would be hilarious to have sex while sounding like Minnie and Mickey Mouse. They spotted a giant helium balloon advertising an apartment complex and got a brilliant idea. While it was still lying on the ground, they managed to work their way inside, giggling as their voices got squeakier and squeakier.
No, hell no. No. Let me get this straight. They found a giant helium balloon and they got inside to have a little fun, to have a little intercourse. They climbed inside a helium balloon.
This was going to be the funniest orgasm of all time. You know what's not funny though? Death by asphyxiation. What the two geniuses hadn't realized is that helium in such high concentrations effectively displaces oxygen completely from your lungs. And as top medical professionals around the world would agree, you need oxygen to live. The couple's bodies would be found later by the owner of the balloon, though it remains unknown how far into the act they actually got before keeling over dead. Number 2. Dangerous boating accident. Donna Lange, a woman who's about to have Google image searches of her explode, was a woman of great gifts, particularly her 2 heaving melons. And she used these mammary cannons for deadly effect. After a bad fight with her boyfriend, Donna decided she had had enough. With murder on her mind but no weapons on hand, Donna was looking for a plan, and then she looked down. While nature had denied her sharp fangs, claws, or horns with which to kill, it had endowed her with 2 massive, heaving Danny DeVitos. Donna threw her boyfriend to the floor and then crawled on top of him. Neighbors would spot her holding her massive calcium cannons directly over her boyfriend's face and smothering him to death. Police and
Breathe, leak. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe, leak. Breathe, leak. Breathe, 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 breathe. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. She choked him to death with her melons. With her melons, man. She suffocated him with her melons, man. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
paramedics were called, but Donna's boyfriend could not be resuscitated. By all accounts, death by motorboating doesn't seem like the worst way to go. Certainly beats our strangest and most painful death yet. Number 1. Shocking sex. When police arrived at the home of Kristen and Toby Taylor in York County, Pennsylvania, they found her husband distraught and crying next to her still body. Toby had been trying to perform CPR unsuccessfully, and paramedics were immediately called. Kristen, however, was unresponsive, and the officer became suspicious. When asked what had happened, Toby said that his wife had been shocked by her hairdryer, and yet a search of the bathroom revealed no hairdryer. Toby then claimed that it was under the sink, but the cabinet was locked with child safety locks. It wouldn't be until the police met with Toby at the hospital and advised him of his Miranda rights that he fessed up. According to him, the amorous duo had been experimenting sexually, expanding their ever more extreme sexual acts, some would say shocking acts, literally. On the night in question, Toby had attached clips to his wife's nipples, not an uncommon practice with BDSM circles, except these clips were themselves attached to an electric cord, and Toby would repeatedly plug and unplug the cord directly into a power strip to deliver painful shocks. By all accounts, Kristen was consensual in the act, but that didn't stop Toby from receiving involuntary manslaughter and reckless endangerment charges. Remember, kids, there is nothing wrong with experimenting and spicing things up, but there is no need to be shockingly stupid about it. Leave your comments and let us know which one of these had you saying, "Wait, what?" Now go check out something.
This was the craziest video I didn't watch in a very, very long time. He attacked to her nipples, bro. Number 10 is still a horse. Nigga got clapped by a horse, bro. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. I didn't.